Hello everyone, I'm Dr. S. Manasa, Assistant Professor from Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Dundigal. So, as a part of the gender and their rights, so we will today discuss about the gender and human rights. So, what are the human rights and what are the cause and pros of this, and why they have implemented these human rights so as to protect the particular gender? Means the cases where the gender sensitive or the gender discrimination is happening. So why these rules have come and what these especially the human rights are carried. Let us see. So human rights are moral principles that set out a certain standards of human behavior are regularly protected as legal rights in the national and international law. So as a legal rights which has been set up to protect the moral principles, and they have given certain standards of human behavior that someone must not go and make other one disturbed or misuse kind of thing. So hence these human rights have come, and there are commonly understood as inalienable fundamental rights to which a person is inherently entitled simply because he or she is a human being. So it is commonly understood that these human right protection have come that the he or she being a human being, it doesn't mean that you should means there must not be any kind of violence or the harassment kind of thing. So based on whether for it is male or the female, there are certain rules and regulations and certain standards have been kept. They are known as these human rights, where they are commonly understood inalienable fundamental rights, and to which the person is inherently entitled. These human rights are thus conceived as a universal, so they are applicable everywhere. So it is same for the all. So and egalitarian means that is same for everyone, and it is applicable everywhere. So wherever you go, it is not that these particular human rights have been specified or the particular to this particular place or the area or the kind of country or the religion, or not like that. It is to every religion or every place everywhere. And for it is not that suddenly for some people, but it is these human rights have to be followed by the every person who lives in the society across the world. So, as a part of the human rights, there is something called a Universal Declaration of Human Rights, so which is mentioned as UDHR. So, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So, all over globally, all countries together have put some rights, and it is said that it is for all places or worldwide. It has to be followed, or it is for all countries or all types of the people. They must be same, and it should be universally followed by the every person who lives in the society, which is globally organized. So these human rights have to be followed by the every person who lives in the society. So the Universal Declaration of Human Rights is the declaration that is being adopted by the United Nations General Assembly on the December 10th, 1948, at the Paris. So it has been started. This is a Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So they have declared certain kinds of rights to the humans that is being proposed at United Nations General Assembly on 10th December, which is at Paris country. So the declaration arose directly from the experience of Second World War, and this represents the global expression of rights which that all human beings to be followed, and it is like they are inherently entitled, means so it is for all, they have to be, it is a global expression, it is there worldwide, so it has come by, from the after this experience that the phases that have been come across or faced by the people during the Second World War. So hence this UDHR has been proposed, and then it has been declared that this expression is for all human beings which are inherently entitled, means that has to be followed at any cost, everywhere, at every place. And the declaration consists of 30 articles which have been elaborated in subsequent international treaties and regional human rights instruments, as well as national constitutions, and in all other types of the laws. So they have proposed 30 articles almost, and where they have been mentioned national international laws are the way of treating the humans at a national level as well as international level, as well as coming to the next factor, the regional human rights, means according to the regional customs, that area where we are living, so there are particular human rights instruments have been told, as well as national constitutions, like for example some particular countries are specific about some particular religion maybe, or they have all the habitats and the customs or the culture activities are different, so based on that also these human rights have been decided. The International Bill of Human Rights consists of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So they have put a bill, international bill, where this the Universal Declaration of Human Rights have been given. The International Covenant on Economic, Social, Cultural Rights, and the International Covenant on the Civil as well as the Political Rights, and its optional protocols. So these have been developed, means that has been these things have been proposed, and then they have put as an international bill as a part of the Universal Declaration of the Human Rights, that is UDHR. So whether economic, social, cultural rights, so in all aspects of, as well as civil, all aspects have been taken into the account. So based on that they have put the some protocols that every person have to be followed. So what does this UDHR says? So what kind of human rights that this UDHR is saying? One is right to life, so how you have to live, and right to the property, so the property right, and right to the reputation, means recognition or the fame, and as well as the political rights. So what kind of in a political way, what kind of rights, as well as economic rights, and civil rights, as well as no discrimination. So all these are given in the UDHR. So this is the parts of the UDHR. So let us see what is the significance of this UDHR. What does it say? The Guinness Book of Records describes that the declaration as the world's most translated document. So Guinness Book says that this UDHR is a declaration as world's most translated documents. That means these human rights have been translated into the various languages or the scripts based on all the countries and their languages as well as the places. So these they have been spread all over the world so as to get accession to the every person who lives in all different parts of the world. Eleanor Roosevelt, who supported the adoption of a declaration as a declaration rather than a treaty. So you have to think that these human rights have been are, they should be adopted, and that is as instead you treat as this is something special, but you have to think that you have to follow, everyone must have to follow and that to be declared. But instead you are thinking, oh, these are laws and they are taken up by some laws or the courts, not like that, but every human being must follow. And she believed that it would have same kind of influence on global society as United States of independence had within the United States. So they have because she thought that this kind of these UDHR human rights will have impact on the society, global society, because in all the ways of and in the United States they have declared that this human rights have to be followed at any cost. In this, she proved that she is correct, and even though it is not legally binding, the declaration has been adopted in or has influenced most national constitutions since 1948. So, as this UDHR has been proposed in 1948, so from that many countries have declared that they will follow this UDHR human rights, and then they it has been become that. That and they have adapted and it has become part and parcel, so it has influenced many national constitutions, and then everyone is trying to get imported and then follow these rules. It also served as the foundation for a growing number of national laws. So, based on these, the human rights national laws have been grown, as well as international laws, treaties, as well as for growing number of regional, national, and subnational institutions protecting and promoting the human rights. So it has become a growing factor, and then all countries have started following, and they have got new laws, and nationally, internationally, as well as regionally and subnationally, institution wise, everywhere. So every country started adopting these rules and then started following these. So while not legally binding, UDHR has inspired several pieces of international legislation regulating specific aspects of human rights, such as it is not like it like for example you do not follow the human rights, so you have the legal action, so it is not like a punishment, but the law, the UDHR, the way it has been followed means that has been proposed, so based on that many countries have been inspired by the UDHR proposals, and then they started following. So internally, it has led to the growth of that nation. So what are those things that has inspired? Let us see. The Convention on Prevention and Punishment of the Crime Genocide means what kind of the factors to have the means if the genocide or the particular gender is killed or something, and then how you prevent, and what kind of punishment that you can give, which is developed in 1951. and the Convention on Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination that has been proposed in 1969. So they started eliminate all kind of any kind of racial discrimination is prohibited, and the Convention on Elimination of All the Forms of the Discrimination Against the Women. So let us not discriminate the people based on the gender, so which has been proposed in 1981, and the Convention Against the Torture or the Violence that is been given in 1984, and the Convention on the Rights of the Child. So every child has a right to live and right to get delivered, or they have birthright, so they can means there is no mother or no family should kill the children, or they means they should be given a happy life. Either it can be childbirth, or it can be infanticide, or feticide kind of thing, or child labor can be there, or the means girl child murder, means that kind of means if the girl child is born and they try to kill the baby, so that kind of things should be completely eliminated. That has been proposed in a year of 1989. So these are all the significance of UDHR. So let us see what are the criticism on UDHR. So there will be always the right positive part and the negative part about every law, are the whatever program or the implementation that country brings or the world brings. Let us see what is the criticism on the UDHR. There are many conflicting points in UDHR, but the prominent one on which the presentation is based on feminist. So what kind of women means how this UDHR is mainly helping to reduce the cases against the women. The American feminist Catherine McKinnon has asked the questions: are women considered as human? So she's asking whether woman is considered as a human, are focused in the part of the use of male-centric terms such as brotherhood in Article 1 and himself and his family in Article 23, which are arose the gender issue in UDHR. So making like there are means the places are the situations are the what do you say is like the cultural things where the female is always dominated by the male gender. So some places the woman is not at all considered. So she asked this person, the American feminist, the Catherine McCann has asked that whether the woman is considered as a human being, or it is like some other animal only. This she is there. So this is like she's criticizing whether the woman should be, because women should be given the proper freedom. So in Article 1, all human beings are born free. They are equal in dignity as well as the rights they have, and they are endowed with a reason and conscience. Should act towards one another and a spirit of brotherhood. So every person, so they endowed with the reason that they should feel comfort, and the act to be like that means one and another should have a spirit of a brotherhood, means the female should feel very safe when she is surrounded by the family members or the people who are men. So that is the Article 1 says. Then coming to the Article 23, everyone has a right to work. So it is that not that employment is specifically for the men or the gents, but it is for everyone. They have free choice of employment. So employment means during the employing also, the employer should make sure that there should be equal opportunity given to the male and female, to just favorable conditions of the work and protection against the unemployment. So there should be always good condition or the positive conditions of the workplace. But thing is, many women candidates are afraid to go for the work because they have the fear of the protection or the conditions at the workplace. So hence they drop out from going for the work, and their protection, how much they are protected also is the factor. And everyone without any discrimination has the right to the equal play for equal work. So this is what happening in many cases, that the male and female has right equal capability of doing work, and they are both carrying out the equal work, but still the unequal pay, always less pay is given for the women. So that should be eradicated, and everyone who works has a right to just and favorable remuneration, ensuring for himself and his family an extensive worthy human dignity, supplemented if necessary by other means of social protector. So they have right to get the equal amount. Men and women should get the equal amount if they are placed in an equal position, and also the female should have the social protection, social means of protection. So everyone has a right to form and to join the trade unions for the protection of in his interests. So everyone is welcome, or they have free choice, or they should be given the freedom, equality to join everywhere as well as in the trade unions. So let us talk about the issues that the gender is faced. Means with respect to the gender, what kind of the issues that UDHR talks about. The first and most foremost thing is gender based discrimination, as well as women rights and rights for the homosexuals, as well as the rights for the sexual rights, as well as these things, that the issues that has been followed. And what is gender discrimination? So despite of all the conventions and work done on the gender issue, violence against the women, it still continues at breathtaking rates. So always the cases has been increased, that there is always violence against the women. Domestic violence supposed to be increase on the tensions arise in the global economic crisis. And gender-based discrimination is still persisting in the workplace, as well as in the housing, education, and disaster relief, as well as political life, inheritance, as well as health care, in the access to the food, as well as countless in other areas. That means where not means everywhere, in every place. This ways means gender bias or the gender discrimination is happening. So why it is so, the why this discrimination is happening? So that this UDHR has given some particular the rights that both male and woman, male and female has, she has every freedom. So based on that, laws have been proposed and constitutions, as well as courts, judges, police, everywhere the protection is there. Only thing is, many people do not know what kind of rights we have. First of all, that should be taken care first. In 2008, the United Nations Population Fund reported that number of women dying as a consequence of either pregnancy or the childbirth is essentially unchanged since 1918. So that means almost um, decade as a decade of time. There is no change in the rate of child, means that is the dying of the pregnancy or the childbirth. So though the 10 years have been passed, but still the cases are have been reported. The access to the justice continues to be hindered by the range of obstacles, including restrictions in some countries on freedom of movement, as well as discounting the evidences given by the women, and lack of training to the police, as well as these judges. These religions, traditions, and the culture is continue to be used as a shield for the violating women's rights. So, because though these laws have been always there, but some religion person says that you have to sit at home, you should not go for the work. So that kind of religion shield or the cultural shield is not allowing women to follow the rights first. So this is acting as a means a barrier to not to get what kind of access she has first, despite of a strong persistent statement that are adapted by the United Nations force that they are not valid justification for such violations, but still the religious kind of they are going to stop. This kind of obstacles that are being developed by the religion or the customs are being still continued, because because they have been followed these rules from henceforth from many years. Though these UDHR is giving so many rules and regulations, and but still this kind of violating these human rights is also happening. Thank you.
Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.